Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. And yes, Caldares is here and says it's a late night Rewards Master. And it is. And I apologize for that. We was either not have one today or do it later because today is Mother's Day. And around the Bop and Nona farm, that's a big day because Nona had her kids and grandkids. Well, they're mine too, but our kids and grandkids here. And, I just couldn't do it this afternoon because we were busy. So after church, we had all of them over. And so it was a fun day. So I had to put it off till a little later. I know a few have contacted me and said, I know Dim contacted me, said he couldn't make it tonight because of that. So I hope they enjoy the replay. But yes, thank you for being here, Calderds. Yeah, Medic says Rewards Master after dark. Yeah, it's a little later than usual. So again, my apologies for all that. A tier says happy Sunday and happy to all mothers out there. Yep, we had a great Mother's Day. Nona was super happy with all her kids and grandkids being here. It was a fun day on the farm. All right, well, welcome everybody. Let's starting to get some folks rolling in here, which is good. And just want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. We have a new member. Coder Corell became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Give you the golf clap that I do sometimes for that. So thank you for joining the membership. I hope you enjoy all the membership videos. I put out one pretty much every week, so at least once a week, sometimes more. So I hope that's a benefit. Thank you for joining the membership. Background balloons here. Real Rewards Guru channel member says hello. Good to have you here. Medic says, it's all good. We just got back not too long ago ourselves. Yeah, everybody was with their mamas today. So I figured it probably would work out not just for me, but for others here as well. Oh, Coder joined the Spreadsheet Warriors tier. All right. Good to have you. Medic just let me know that. That's great. Great news. Henry Louisville, daughter went Chicago a few days ago and encountered zero issues. Rare for AA. Yeah, no, I don't counter issues all the time with American. Maybe 15% of the time, something like that. But man, their miles are good. So I guess we worked that out. Got a backlog to catch up on. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, there's a Spreadsheet Warrior special. We record all of our Zoom sessions, so you can go back through those. And those are if any of you've ever considered Spreadsheet Warriors, I love it because in fact we're going to have one. I'm getting ready to schedule it for this coming Tuesday night. And our live Zoom sessions are great to me because it's everybody can talk face to face, so you can interrupt if somebody's sharing a strategy or something and clarify or whatever it may be. So it's just different than just being able to put comments and hopefully get those answered. It's just different when you're interacting face to face live over Zoom. St. Patrick's is here. That's great. Tech VHD. Curious, what was your favorite destination when you've been to, and where's your next dream destination? Oh, that's a good question. So, I don't know. I think the answer would be different with Nona and I. I told her that once she gets up just a few more subscribers, she's away again travel. She's like close to 200 now. I think she's 184 or something like that today. But when she gets up over 500, I think that's when you have to do it to do live streams. I think I'm not sure, but that we should start doing some live streams on occasion, not weekly like I do, but just to kind of share some of our destinations and things. I think that my favorite was, and this is going to sound strange because we also went to Dubai, but I loved Abu Dhabi. I think Abu Dhabi and Seoul, South Korea, because y'all know that I'm a professor and I teach. One of the subjects I teach is history, and that's what my PhD's in. And I just so I'm always looking at societies and cultures and things, and I really was fascinated by both of those cultures and societies. I mean, Korea, they heat the streets. How on earth do they afford to do that? That's unbelievable. I mean, it was just such an intriguing society and culture. Abu Dhabi is like the cleanest place ever. We went to Ferrari World, and we like amusement parks, but I hate lines. So in Ferrari World, it was we were like, there was like 25 people there for the first 3 hours. We just got on rides and we could get right back on them over and over and over. So cool. Warner Brothers was very similar there, and just the Conrad at the Etihad Towers in Abu Dhabi was just the cheapest, most luxurious thing we've ever done because it was only $151 a night, and we got the $200 Hilton credit for our resorts credit with our Aspire card. So wow, I mean, so basically I paid $150 and we got free meals at both at the most incredible breakfast spread and a separate menu for Diamond members. And then they had a happy hour for Diamond members in the evening every night. And I mean, it had shrimp and crab, and it was just unbelievable. So we didn't even pay for meals. $150 for 2 nights. And one, we got upgraded to a great suite. It was just fantastic. So as far as destinations, that and Korea, had a great time in Korea. Didn't have a fancy stay because I stayed. I was over there teaching for our school, a branch campus, and they have like apartments there. So I stayed in that. But just the society was just phenomenal to me. I loved it. This fall we're going to Hong Kong and Taipei and China, and so maybe my opinion will change then. Um, my next dream destination, uh, I really really am excited to go to Singapore. We'll probably do that next year. Australia. So hopefully that answers your question. Jorge Rodriguez says good night to the rewards master in the community. Love the fire of the Mustang hat. That is, I got several because I'm a Mustang. I have a Mustang convertible GT, so I love my car. It's old, but I love it. It's awesome. All right, just gaming. A lot of American hate is outdated. They've improved a lot. They have. Their flight attendants are lots better. Their service is lots better than it was, say, 5 years ago. Big improvement. Henry says Tech VD Outer Banks before COVID. Okay. Dim is here. I thought you weren't going to be here, Dim. Good to have you here, buddy. Just saying hello. Good night, everybody. All right. Well, at least he popped in for a minute. Good to have you, bud. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in your family. Medic says good night to Dim. What culture in the UAE? The culture of money? Yeah. No, it's just weird because it's just so different than the US. So Nona, I mean, I have pictures. It's so cute. I thought it was awesome. She had to dress up. You know, we went to the Grand Mosque and she tried to dress in an appropriate manner. It did not pass the mosque inspectors because they have inspectors who look you over head to toe. So I had to buy her a little outfit. That's fine. She can use it for VBS at church or something. So I bought her a little outfit, and I don't know. It was just the culture. I mean, and then she made a comment. We were actually rewatching that video the other day, and on her channel, or maybe it was on mine. I don't know. But we were watching the video, and she said, I was the only person wearing red. Like everybody wears black or wears white or wears like sand color. It just was different, you know. I'm not saying I'd want to live in a different place, but it was fascinating just to examine their culture. Medic, I haven't had too many issues with AA. Sometimes they slow down arrivals, DFW, but they usually will slow or hold connections, I've noticed. Yeah, I've seen that too. Background Balloon, Rewards Master, if you come over to Hoover Institute, Hoover Library and Archives at Stanford and want to go to the Tower Observation Deck. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never been to Stanford University, but I'd love to. It's a kind of a storied institution. So, been to Harvard, have a daughter that went there, but haven't went to Stanford. A tier. By the way, I think she got into Harvard Law, but I think she got waitlisted at Stanford. So they all have their different criteria. A tier. After seeing your trip and review with Nona, I totally want to go to Abu Dhabi. Awesome. I loved it. I mean, I liked it better than Dubai. I mean, they're just an hour apart. So we took an Uber from one to the other, like $100. And so we stayed a few nights in Abu Dhabi, stayed a few nights in Dubai. And I should have gotten a better hotel in Dubai. I got the Conrad in Abu Dhabi. I could have got the Conrad in Dubai. But I found what I thought was a great deal on a hotel that was rated very highly, the Millennium Hotels there. And I won't do that again. It wasn't a bad hotel room, but it wasn't elegant like what we had. And I probably could have gotten the Conrad for a couple more, maybe a little bit more, you know, not enough to make a difference. So that is a regret there. But we like Dubai, but Abu Dhabi, I mean, it's like Dubai is clean, but Abu Dhabi is extra clean. I really liked it. And like I said, I can't speak highly enough of Korea also. Real rewards. I have a Mustang Mach E. I know yours is much cooler. Haha. No, no, mine's not cooler than that. That's cool. That's a Mach E. That's the electric one, right? So I don't know. They don't really look exactly like a Mustang though. So, but yeah, I mean, those it would beat mine off the line, even though mine's a GT. I promise you, because those electric vehicles are crazy fast, crazy fast. Background balloon, just gaming. The UAE has a lot of culture that isn't covered in highlighted outside of luxury. Yeah, and people there love living there. You know, seemed like every Uber driver, nobody was a native that we interact with, the service people, you know, at the hotel or Uber drivers and stuff like that. But they all loved living there, and they said it's just the safest place. Here's a fascinating thing. So we always make friends with people everywhere we go, you know. So the lady who helped us at the front desk was so nice to us, and she told us that she walks home like 7, 8 blocks through the main part of town at like 3 in the morning, and she feels totally safe. That's a pretty low crime rate, and so they're some of the safest cities in the world for sure. Um, I hear good things about the Ritz in UAE. I bet it's nice, but I'm telling you, it'd be hard to beat the Conrad at the Etihad Towers. It's also was in the movie Fast and Furious 7 when they jumped the car from one tower to the other. That's the Conrad. So that's kind of a cool thing. Background says IIRC Hoover Institute was able to get a hold of the original Chiang Kai shek diaries at one point. They made a copy of it. I think it's also digitized before they returned it. Oh, wow. That'd be cool to see. Background balloon, you can access the copies in the library archives, reading room. Go to the reading room, requires an appointment 7 days ahead. All right. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Next time I'm out there, we don't get to the San Francisco Bay Area often, but next time I'm out there, I might try to check that out. All right, let me get to the information for tonight before I get to more comments. Weekly topics. So I'm changing up the format. What I used to do before was I talked about some status things. I talked about some restaurant things. I'm just realizing I'm the only guy that seems to care about restaurant rewards. So I won't bore everybody else with that stuff. So I cut that out of the new format. And then I'm going to do a travel report before I get to the centerpiece. So what I'm doing is, because we have Nona's channel now, and we're trying to put all the travel related stuff, like, now, of course, there'll be crossover, but because I talk about how we get there and the points and miles and the credits and all that stuff. But we're going to start putting the airline reviews, the hotel reviews, all that kind of stuff over on Away Again Travels. So because of that, I didn't want to leave that completely off my channel. So what I'm going to do is, in all of these regular Sunday lives, I'm going to have just a brief portion where I show you photos or maybe a brief video or something where I just talk about different places we've traveled. And I'm going to highlight the points and miles portion of it. So what I'll do is I'll share how we got there, how many points it was, what our stays were like, how, what that cost us as far as if we used hotel credits or points, or if we used free night search, stuff like that, and then how we flew back and stuff. So hopefully it'll be helpful to you as you're thinking about redemptions. And then going into our centerpiece every week, which is like my main event for all of the different lives that I do. Stacy's here. Stacy's Travel Points. You're probably not cooking at this time, Stacy. Don't know if you're a mother, but happy Mother's Day to you. What are you doing? It isn't dinner time, LOL. How long have you been on? Happy Sunday. Now, I've only been on for 14 minutes, so we just started. Because it's Mother's Day and Nona had all of our kids. Well, not all of them, but she had kids and grandkids here with us today on the farm. I couldn't interrupt her time, and I had to play video games with my grandson, ride the go-kart, stuff like that. So hit that like, everyone. Thank you, Stacy, for that. I appreciate it. Coder, newest spreadsheet warrior, says, anyone have experience using points for booking cruises? Looking at a European cruise and trying to decide if it's worth it just to book it on my platinum. Nona and I are planning a big trip with some people on a Mediterranean cruise next spring. In fact, I'm probably going to book it tomorrow, or at least do the deposit, that you have to do with cruise, MSC cruise in the Mediterranean. I'm very excited about it because I've not been to Turkey except just in the airport in Istanbul. So we're going to do, I think we start in Venice, which we haven't been to Venice. We've been to Milan, we've been to Florence, we've been to Amalfi Coast, and we've been to Rome, but never to Venice. We're going to start in Venice. We'll get to go to Split, Croatia. We'll have a stop off in Athens. We've been to Athens. But then Ephesus, that's really cool because I would like to see Ephesus, ancient Bible site, and then end up in Constantinople, or as most of you would call it, that's the historian in me, but that most of you would call it Istanbul. So we're going to end up there. So we're going to do that next year. I think we're just going to pay for it because I haven't found good ways to get good point redemptions on something like that. And y'all know if I don't get well above a 2 cent per point redemption, I generally just don't use my points. So if anybody else has any data points on that, that would be helpful, but that's what I know of it. All right, first thing under new developments, the new Amex Gold changes. Excuse me. The Amex Gold changes. Well, there's been some fanfare about this, that they did kind of a light refresh of the Amex Gold. It's still, we don't currently have the Amex Gold. We've had it 3 or 4 times through the years, so very familiar with it. It's got the same $325 fee on it. It's also got a 5x now earning rate on hotels through the Amex portal, and that's up from, I think it was 2x before. It's got for Hertz 5-star status. It's got expanding dining credit, and so they took off, let's see, what did they remove? Well, it's leaving my mind right now, but they added Buffalo Wild Wings, which I thought was a pretty good ad, and Wonder. They don't have any of those in Mississippi, but I understand that there's quite a bit of that stuff up in the Northeast. And so what's the conclusion on the Amex Gold changes? I just don't think it deserves much attention in my estimation. Now, does that mean the Amex Gold is a bad card? No. The Amex Gold card is a strong card because you can get back with the Resi credit and the dining credit and the Grubhub credit, Uber credit, Uber Eats and all that. You can get back well more than your annual fee. It's by my book, if you're a gamer like many of us are, that's a good card. And it gets 4x on dining, 4x on grocery stores. That now we don't have it anymore. We canceled ours because I just could never use. I had nothing to use it for. It's got 4x on dining. Well, y'all know I get 5x on dining, so it's like and points that are to me more valuable, which are city points. And when it comes to grocery stores, we do our grocery shopping at Walmart, so it's like they're the only place that'll deliver to our farm. So yeah, it just doesn't work for us. But I think it's a great card. But do these changes make any difference? Well, the 5x on hotels, and that's below industry standard on a lot of cards. When it comes to the Venture X, gets 10x on hotels. The City Elite gets 12x. The City Premier, that's way cheaper than this, it gets more than that. I think it's 10x also. So 5x on hotels through a portal just isn't exciting. Now, if it was 5x on hotels direct, now that would be smoking. But that just doesn't move the needle for me as far as, doesn't make it a bad card. It just doesn't make it that much better. Hertz 5-star status. Well, I just don't rent from Hertz anymore. I used to. I've rented so many cars from Hertz. It's crazy. They were my go-to. I had their President's Circle status or whatever they call it. And I've rented a Hellcat and paid for the cheapest little Corolla. They always upgraded you. I think their statuses are fine. This isn't their highest status though, but their statuses are fine. But since they've gone to AI on examining the cars and all that, and since we're having people arrested who had returned their cards and stuff, there's too many other competitor companies. I'm just not going to use Hertz. That's just where I'm at on it. Some of you may have no issues with them, and I've never had an issue with them, but I sure don't want that headache. So I just don't use them. The expanded dining credit, Buffalo Wild Wings, man, that'd be pretty easy for me to use. I love Buffalo Wild Wings, and we have one right on my way to work. So it's like, it would be pretty good. But my conclusion is it's an improvement for non-gamers. In other words, somebody that like this is their one main card or one of their few cards, that 5X on hotels, that Buffalo Wild Wings, that might make a difference. So it's an improvement. Is it a major improvement? I'd say no. But it's kind of meaningless to to high velocity people. Folks who have a lot of different cards are going to have better stuff than this, right? I mean, if you have a Venture X, you've got better than that. I mean, a lot better. So, yeah, to me, it's kind of a nothing thing as far as that goes. All right, let me go back to the comments real quick. Let's see where we got to. All right, double animal fries, one of the coolest names. I mean, you and Stinky Monkey, baby, you guys are in competition. Hayes Rewards Master, happy Mother's Day to all. Yep. Medic says to Coder, I don't think that there are many good choices for redeeming outside of a card like Aeroplan. I know CSR will give 8X on cruise bookings, and the ones that I've done are the same price. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know a way to get real outsized value on cruise bookings. Now, Virgin, if you were doing a Virgin cruise because of crazy transfer bonuses, that a Virgin cruise might be a little different story. So with transfer bonuses and stuff, you could look into that. But if it's not a Virgin cruise, then that's kind of my estimation too. Family Trennel John finally parked at my DoubleTree so I can comment. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Thank you, John. Jay Carlos, good to have you here. Changes were positive, but do not move the needle. I renewed for second year with a retention offer, but I'll cancel or downgrade and cancel next time around. Yeah. I mean, the retention offers, we didn't get one. That's why we chose to cancel it. Because like I said, it just never came out of the wallet except just the work to get the credits. So that's all it was for us. Will not rent from Hertz anymore. I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I just too much risk. I mean, I don't, that AI thing is weird too. I don't want to be judged on how I treated a car, because there's always door dings, and I'm kind of overboard about that. When I go around the car and I take photos every time I rent a car, just in case. Now, I don't know why I do that because like every time I've ever had an issue with a car, one time I turned and I kind of scraped a curb and I'm like, oh man, they're going to ding me so bad. The guy didn't even care. And I strive my best to be an honest man. So I mentioned it. When I returned the car, I said to him, hey, I had a little deal. Look at that down there. And he's like, it's no big deal. No big deal. I've never had them ever care. But if they ever do care, I just don't want that stress in my life. So I'm with you, Jay Carlos. Yuri says, you said 5X on dining. Do you mean city custom cash? Is there a spending limit like 500 a month? If so, somebody who eats often, 2 custom cash cards. No, I have the City Prestige. I think, yeah, I can't recommend it to anybody because nobody else can get it, but I get 5X unlimited dining on that. Medic, a buddy of mine is a trooper and has pulled over people with stolen. He really, somebody who's pulled over somebody, ran their license plate number, and it came back stolen with her. Man, no way. I'm not renting from Hertz. Even if they wanted to sponsor the channel, I'm not going to rent from Hertz, and I'm not going to push them because that just not until they change some stuff. That is crazy. There's Stinky Monkey, baby. You called Bop? Yes, sir. Good to have you here. Double animal fries. Your name competition here. Yeah, Amex Gold changes are fine. I guess that it's getting way more press than it deserves because of the Amex Gold. It's fine. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not earth shaking. That's the thing that was interesting to me is that, some seem to think it's a big deal. It's just 5X on hotels through a portal. That's just not a big deal. I mean, it's just not a big deal. Family Travel John says canceling the gold this year. Tired of trying to get all the monthly credits, and I'm focusing on Built in City now. Yeah, I mean, if I were getting a ton of dining points on that, and I didn't have a better dining card, then I would keep it and I'd go to the trouble. I mean, y'all know I don't mind to game the game. I mean, that's fine. I have my spreadsheet. I go through it every month. I get my credits, but and I didn't have trouble on the gold card. I probably got 90% of my credits every year. But why go to the trouble if the only reason I'm having the card is to get the credits? I mean, that's my logic on it. All right. Let's see. Do we have more below? Nope. All right. So, travel report, Zurich. So, Nona and I just a couple weeks ago got back from a trip to Milan. Then we went to Lake Como, and we have the Milan video and the Lake Como video over on Away Again Travel. So, check that out. Again, subscribe to her channel. That makes her real happy, and thereby, in effect, makes me happy as well. And so we've got those up there. We'll be putting out the Zurich one pretty soon, but I thought I'd just give y'all a little travel report. We stayed only in Zurich 2 days. Now, let me tell you something about Zurich, Switzerland, or I think this is true of everywhere in Switzerland. You better have a robust dining budget if you're going to be there, because Switzerland is expensive when it comes to food. We ordered some sausage dogs, like hot dogs from a street vendor. And I'm telling you, Nona ordered one, I ordered one, and we ordered a water. And it was $42. I mean, and everywhere we went, and we don't ever split meals. We don't worry about it. But there is like, she said, you want to just split something? I mean, and maybe order an extra order of fries or something. Cause it's like, man, that's not overblown. Their food is the most expensive food we've seen anywhere in the world for what you're getting. Now, I mean, we didn't go to super fancy restaurants. We've had more expensive meals other places, but apples to apples, it's just very, very, very expensive. So that's just know that if you go to Switzerland. Now, the hotels and things weren't that bad, and the transportation wasn't that bad. It was the meals that were crazy. So here you can see us on the left. There's kind of those classic Switzerland housing. That was that center photo there was a big children's festival going on while we were there. So it was so cool. It was a parade. We watched the parade, and they had, like, I don't know, thousands of Swiss kids that were involved in this, and they're like in different troops, and each troop represented, like, the last one was almost like you're watching It's a Small World, because each troop represented a different country. Strangely, I don't think the United States was represented, but still, it was neat because you saw one was Holland, one was China, one was Korea, the next one was Bulgaria. I mean, and they were all dressed appropriately for that particular nation and culture. It was just very cool. Nona loved the flowers. They had, like, this was on the right-hand side there. They had this fountain and this little pool that was filled with floating flowers, and they just decorated the place up very, very nicely. We went to the Lindt chocolate factory, and oh my, I'm trying to get Nona out of that place. And it was so cool because they give you so much chocolate sample after sample after sample of every flavor imaginable. And then at the end, those Lindt chocolate balls that are wrapped up and all different flavors. They had like every flavor lined up, and we just each took some and filled our backpack with them, brought them home to friends. It was really a neat thing. So if you go to Zurich, you got to see that. We also took a boat back from the Lindt factory back to the main part of Zurich, out on Lake Zurich, and it was gorgeous. It was really, really nice. Tried some of their authentic food there, and you'll probably notice the fondue here. And their fondue was interesting. They bring you things like potatoes and pears. That was interesting to dip in the cheese. Very good. But I'm telling you, that bucket of cheese there is like $50. So be warned. But if you go to Zurich, you got to try that out. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And let me see. Okay. So getting down to the details of it. So our entry travel, we took a train from Como. That cost $110 each. Now, I will warn you about this, and it was about a 2.5-hour train ride, something like that. If you have one of the new Capital One cards that are Discover card, it did not work for our friends there. I mean, I I ended up using my Ritz-Carlton card because it did reject my Bilt card, but I think it was just their machine because they switched to another machine. Nobody had any other issues with MasterCards, but I just used my Ritz card Visa and it worked fine. But somebody in our party had a brand new Saver card that was already on the Discover network, and it only worked about half the time in Europe, and it did not work for that purchase. They had to use a debit card for that purchase. I offered to do it for them, but they just used their debit card. So whatever. But that's what we rode. We rode second class. It was fine. It was comfortable, no problem. Um, on the train from Como up to Zurich, and what a magnificent view! I mean, you're seeing the farmlands up in the meadows, up in the mountains, in the Swiss Alps. It is just magnificent. I mean, just beautiful. Our hotel, we stayed in a boutique hotel. We do this every year when we travel because I take a group of friends from church and do tours and things overseas. And they're not going to stay in Conrad's. They don't have points. Our friends don't have free night certs, all that stuff. So we just usually book boutique hotels that are relatively inexpensive. And so us and a big group of people, we basically took up half this hotel, but it's called the Hotel Montana. It's right near the train station. It's a boutique hotel. It was $417 for 2 nights and I used the Capital One card and got 300 back with my Venture X card. So net, we paid $117 for the 2 nights, and it was a comfortable, fine room. They had a full breakfast spread. I mean, it wasn't the kind of breakfast that we're used to. So no biscuits and gravy there. So it was like, it was okay. Mostly like lunch meats and stuff like that you often have on breakfast in Europe. It was fine. They had coffee available all the time, 24 hours a day. Nona loved that, but it was fine. But like I said, net about $117. Our exit travel. So we flew back to the US. We flew back through JFK, and then we caught a separate positioning flight back to Memphis. And that was on Swiss Air business class. And I made a mistake on the slide. It was 70,000 Aeroplan points each transferred from Amex and $147 in fees. So that's good. This is interesting because will be the new price with Aeroplan since the deval. So it'll be 75,000 Aeroplan points, but we paid 70. So like I said, little mistake on the slide. Let me see if we have any more comments. I think we do. Stinky Monkey Baby says John gets it. And Medic, in Louisiana, we have plate readers set up all over. And if it hits, the police are notified. All right. Well, that's an efficient system for the police, I suppose. Double animal fries. Amex lags behind everyone with portal earnings. Any thoughts on that? Even the platinum relative to the competition. I just don't. I don't know. I can't tell you why Amex does, but you're correct. They seem to on portal earnings. Maybe I'm sure they're probably getting the same commission on that stuff. I mean, we don't have to look behind the scenes to have the common sense to know that these companies, they're doing these portal bookings and they're getting a commission rate. That's how they can pay out so many points. How on earth does Capital One pay out 10x? You would Chase, you can get higher than that sometimes. Amex, though, they pay out low. I mean, how does Citi pay out 12x? Well, they're getting higher commissions. So either Amex is not getting higher commissions or they have decided that it doesn't matter that much to their customers and they are going to just keep the extra profit, I guess. I don't know another answer for that. It is interesting, though. They're not that far behind on airfare through the portal because clearly the commissions are not as good on airfare as they are on hotels and car rentals because, Chase does have that 8x with the CSR with the portal. Let's see. The City Strata Elite has 6x, but the Amex cards are 5x, with like the business plat and the platinum card and all that through the portal. So I think it has to do with commissions and maybe they're just keeping more of it. So that's the best answer I have. NN3, I upgraded my gold to platinum. Well, the platinum's a great card, not for spending, but for everything else. It's great. Coder says double annual fries agree, but I do appreciate their direct flight booking multiplier. Yes, that is a good. I mean, even the Amex Gold card has a 3x on direct flights, and also the platinum card 5x. I mean, if I put most of that on my City Prestige, but otherwise I would be using the platinum card to get that 5x direct because I do not like to book airlines through portals. Yuri says, Bob, do you use AA portal or other portals to book hotels? Do you have a video on this? Well, I think I do have an older video on AA hotels, and I love using the AA hotel portal. However, I haven't been doing it as much lately because I've got so many stinking hotel credits that I need to use through other portals and stuff. So like I've used most of them up, but I'll just list them for you. So I have the City Prestige 300. I have an Amex Platinum 300 twice. Got to use it twice in the year for FHR. I've got a business platinum with two $300 credits I got to use. Then I've got Bill, two $200 credits I got to use. Then I've got the Venture X card. Now that one's a general travel, but still got to use it, $300. Then I've got the Delta Platinum card. That's what is it, 100 or 150, one of the two on Delta stays. And then I just upgraded yesterday to my United Gateway card to an Explorer because I want to take advantage of the reduced rates they're now giving to card members on award flights by 10%. And that one has a credit on it. Then the Chase Sapphire Preferred has a $50 credit on it. And Ritz Carlton, almost forgot. I got a free night cert there. Got a free night cert with IHG. Got a free night cert with Hyatt, and got the big free night cert with the Hilton Aspire. And then also got the two $200 resort credits with the Hilton Aspire. And I'm exhausted going through the list. So whenever I have hotels I can't use one of those credits on because I'm going to get my money back on my credits, then I do use the AA hotel portal because I love getting those loyalty points. I mean, and it's big numbers. And I love getting 10x extra with my executive card. So I hope that answers your question. I do use it sometimes, but not as often as you would think I would, only because I'm trying to get my money back on my credits. Henry Louisville, canceling the Hilton Surpass next month. Love the national rental executive car status, but not being able to buy gift cards any longer kills it. Annual fee is going to try out Built Obsidian. Oh, you're going to Built Obsidian. I did a video, last week on how I think it's the best credit card of all time. So I'm hoping you'll love that. Yeah, that I find that true on my business platinum card, that $50 a quarter credit for Hilton. I actually let most of it. I only used $12 of it the first quarter. Now this quarter I've already used the full 50, but that's another hotel credit, $50 every quarter at a Hilton. And in my community, none of the Hiltons have a restaurant. They just have, so I guess I could do the Dougras thing and go buy Hot Pockets at them. And I probably will in desperation do that. But yeah, those Hilton credits are not so easy to use, even though they're good at any Hilton, and that one and the one on the Amex Business Platinum are good even for room rates. But man, it can be hard to use. So I feel your pain on that. Good evening, says Free Music. Good to have you here. Double Animal Fries says 100% agree. 5x flights with platinum is crazy good. It is. Vicky's very complimentary. Thank you. Very appreciate that. First time catching it live, says M2K. I guess I picked a good time for you, even though I'm later than normal. So I'm glad that's good. Don Kim, from the mini books you had in the background from a previous video, do you have like a top two favorites? Oh boy, that would be hard. That would be hard. I do teach some ethics, so I've studied a lot of philosophy. Of course, the Bible would probably be my favorite book of all time, of course. That, for me particularly, because I do teach theology too. But I love philosophy, ancient philosophy particularly. I love Socrates. I love Aristotle, who wrote about Socrates. I love Plato. Oh, Plato wrote about Socrates. I love Aristotle, all of that a lot. So, um, Suetonius, the 12 Caesars. I teach Roman history. Love Suetonius. Um, more modern books. Well, that ain't really me. I listen to some audiobooks, but Kai Renton says, have you held both Delta Platinum and Reserve to earn welcome offer silver MQD stack? Is it worth it? I have not. I've had the Reserve card, and I love the Delta Reserve card, but I don't feel that I need a Platinum or Business Platinum Amex and the Delta Reserve because I get the lounge access with either one. So I don't currently have that. I downgraded my Reserve down to the Gold card, and then I upgraded it with an upgrade offer just last month to the Platinum card with the Delta Platinum. I'm liking the Delta Platinum. I think it's a crazy good card with the companion cert. What I'll probably do is get a business platinum card also down the road and have those two to get the silver status automatically. And I would like silver status automatically because I like to be able to move seats to better seats and all that. And so, yeah, and sometimes Comfort Plus is still available. And even though I don't call it an upgrade, I do like Comfort Plus. I mean, I think it's a way better experience than sitting in the back for sure. So, yeah, that's probably how I'll do it. So I think the Reserve is a great card if you don't have the Platinum card. I didn't at the time, and it served my needs for getting into both Centurion lounges. And also, the only downside is you only get to go into Centurion lounges when you're flying Delta. Where with a Platinum or Business Platinum, you can go into Centurion even when you're flying American or United or any of that. Double animal fry. Switzerland is too rich for my blood right now. Yeah, I mean it is. We were only there 2 days, and I planned that out intentionally because I planned the trips for our group. And yeah, I mean I knew that nobody would like paying those prices, and it was everything that I was told and more. But beautiful. You got to visit at least once. Just don't stay super long if you got to, or maybe you could. Maybe I don't know how expensive their grocery stores are, but sounds like a great trip. Thank you. It was a great trip. Mark says, sounds way better than trash landfill tourism. Trash landfill. I'm not sure what you're referencing there, but I'm sure it's hilarious. So if you want to clarify, that'd be fine. Kyle says, great feedback. Thank you. You're welcome. And in 3, just like Amex customer service and benefits, I'm disappointed with AMR. There's better points and miles. Even I prefer to get Hawaiian miles over American Express so I can use it on Alaska. Yeah. Well, Bilt's fantastic for that because it transfers right over. Stacy says, you're correct. We went to Switzerland last year and it was beyond expensive, but it is beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it is gorgeous. It is. I mean, we've lived out west, and to me, it's like driving through Montana everywhere. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. The Alps are fantastic. The best ride though was the Bernina Red Train from St. Moritz. We took that down to near Lake Como. I think was it Toronto. I think you go to. Man, that is an incredible ride. Incredible. Free music. Going to Norwegian fjords. I always never can say that right. Next year. Heard Norway is also super expensive. Yeah, I think all those northern European countries I've heard are the Nord. What do you call them? Scandinavian, Nordic countries expensive. Don Kim says that's very cool. Don't know much about philosophy, but I do remember learning about someone named Zwingli from Zurich. I think. Yep, that's right. He was a reformer. Double animal fries. How to ensure you use all your hotel credits with so many? I keep a spreadsheet, and I'm working on it all year. So now that to some people, they're going to think, well, who would want to do that? And I understand. It's not your thing. It's not your thing. That's fine. But who wants to? Some people are sports fans who know every stat of everybody on their team and every team they compete against. That's fine. I'm a casual sports fan. I love college football. War Eagle. That's who we root for. But it's I like it, but that's not my hobby. My hobby is points and miles. So, and I mean, how many hobbies pay you back? That's what's awesome about this. And that was long before I did YouTube. We were getting lots of value from points and miles. So, yeah, I think about it a lot. And I run my spreadsheet. And every month I'm looking at my spreadsheet and where I've checked off what I've used and what I haven't. So that's how I do it. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. I think that's the end of our comments we have right this minute. I haven't even looked to see how many we got in here tonight. 61 people watching for a late live. That's pretty good. Awesome. 26 have hit the like button. So appreciate it. Okay, here's my centerpiece. What earnings matter most based on spend and frequency of paid travel? So the inspiration of this was I kind of reworked an old live, and when I did that, I got a lot of comments because in that live I was talking about, whether multipliers matter or not and who they matter to. And I got a lot of comments and people saying, "Yeah, I think multipliers are," and they were great comments, by the way, no trolls or anything like that. And so they were like, "Well, yeah, multipliers matter, but they matter way more to high spenders than low spenders." And really, someone made the comment, "I wouldn't think multipliers are any better than the third or fourth most important thing." So I thought, well, this will be a fun exercise. And I want to warn everybody at the outset, I don't in any way claim that these things I threw together in these slides, and I used AI to help me, but that these things I threw together, I mean, I put the input in, it just made the slides. But as I was putting it together, I thought, yeah, that one could be switched. And I did that several times. So this is not a definitive list. It's just kind of an exercise to think about what different earning methods matter the most to different people. So the earning methods that I laid out here are paid flights, because let me tell you, if you fly a lot for work and get reimbursed and use your own credit card, you can earn so many points through paid flights. I've always been reimbursed for work travel, and I do a little less of it now, but man, in years gone by, I was flying all the time. And in doing that, man, I could pay for it, got reimbursed. I would go consult and they would pay me and I buy my own ticket. And in that, man, I was slamming it. I earned so many points on my airline of choice. At the time, it was United. And I had so many points. So you can get a lot of points through flying if you're doing paid travel, but that's only a certain kind of person with a certain kind of job, right? And a certain kind of reimbursement. They're not using a company card, they're getting reimbursed. So there's that person. There's the person who earns through, of course, sign-up bonuses. Those are going to be valuable to everybody. And many people understand sign-up bonuses are where you're going to get the most ROI of any of it. Then there's things like, you can use portals. I mean, how many of you have earned so many points through Rakuten or through American Airlines shopping or through Capital One shopping or whatever it may be? Portals, if you got a lot of spend, that can be incredible value. Then there is, of course, referrals. And referrals can be, especially if a husband and wife or, two friends or significant other or whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, if they're referring each other back and forth, and if they've got friends to refer, you can rack up a lot of points through referrals. So there's just a lot of different ways to rack up points. Well, which method should be prioritized? And so that's the exercise that we're going to go through for just a moment. Hey, there is one of our spreadsheet warriors, Source King. And Source King says Norway is way more expensive than the other Scandinavian countries. All that oil owned by the government makes everyone rich and dries up prices. Okay. Well, that's good to know because I just kind of assumed they were all kind of similar. Coder says, I'd much rather spend on a few cards and manage some credits than do the cashback setup where I have to manage a bunch of $500 caps. Yeah, that's I don't blame you on that. That's the one for me too. And some of you may do this, and this is not an insult, honestly. It's just my own preference. I also don't like managing rotating category cards. It's just something I don't like to have to think about all the time. And I know the Freedom Flex, you can get great value. I mean, especially when it's dining, because you're getting 7X. That's great. I'm just not into rotate. I have them, but I'm just not into rotating category cards. So we're all different about what we're willing to do, and that's okay. A double double says most people think keeping track of cards and credits is a chore, and that's reasonable, but I love it. I do too. It's a game to me. It's like I want to beat, I want to win. It's a strategy. So, I mean, to me, my spreadsheet is my game board, and I'm playing against Chase and American Express and Built and Capital One, and I'm trying to win the game. And I win when they pay me far more than I pay them. That's the game. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Kyle says, I'm currently trying the Delta anniversary loophole for the companion certificate. Gold to platinum. There you go. I've used that before. It works. At least it did. Coder Corral, I'm on track to make 500K built points this year off of Rakuten. It's nuts. That is, man, you are a honor mode gamer. 500,000 built points with Rakuten. That is smoking awesome. All right, let me dive into this first one. Low spend, low or infrequent travel. So here are the 5: sign up bonuses, portals, referrals, multipliers, and flying. Now you may think of some others, and I probably missed some, but this is kind of initially what I felt the priority list would be. I think the low spend, low and infrequent travel. So if this is the person who travels once or twice a year, right? 3 times a year, maybe, whatever. But they don't have a lot of spend. And I would think this person should prioritize first and foremost their sign-up bonuses. That's where they're going to get the value from sign-up bonuses. Secondly, I would think they should prioritize portals, because in the portals, what spend they do use, they can get outsized value from that. Very good multipliers. I mean, like was just stated, 500,000 in 1 year through Rakuten, that ain't because you're spending 500 grand. I mean, it's not a 1-to-1. You're getting far more than that. So I think for this low spend person, especially, those portals could be very, very good. Then I put referrals, because referral bonuses can be pretty big. I mean, like, some of my cards have 20,000, some of them have 15,000 referral bonuses. So that's exactly what I think the low spender could use. And it doesn't cost them anything if they refer their spouse or their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, friends. If they're constantly talking about the card to their friends and saying, I got this, if you want to try it out, I got this referral bonus. I mean, I think that's a great way for a low spender to get a lot of points. So I think that would be third. The fourth for low spenders, I would think, would be multipliers. I mean, if you're only spending $500 or $1,000 a month, multipliers, how much do they actually move the needle? They just don't move the needle very much, right? So that's kind of where I'd put that. And then the last one is flying. I mean, they're probably, if they're a lower infrequent traveler, they're probably going to pay for all of their flying on their points and not really earn any miles anyway. So that's the bottom of the barrel for that person. So that's kind of what I came up with on this. Curious your responses. All right. Medic says, I try to make the rotating categories as easy as I can for the flex restaurants. 3 $500 gift cards and done. Yeah, that's a pretty good approach. And like I said, I know they have great value. They have great value. Calder likes the slide design. I appreciate that. That's AI helped me with that. I put in the input. It made the slide. I thought it looked good. CG says, would bonuses for adding authorized users fit this model? Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that one. But yeah, bonuses for authorized users, that would I would think that would be kind of like referrals. That would I'd kind of slot it under there, but it could be its own category as well. But yeah, that's something that they offer. There's also retention bonuses, and I didn't put that on here either. Double says, yep, subs are really the go-to for low spend. Can't beat the return on spend for subs. Yeah, I mean, subs are kind of the only way a low spender is going to get well over, say, 100,000, 200, 300,000 points in a year. A high spenders, that's not hard at all. But for low spenders, yeah, subs are the way to go. Subs are definitely the way to go. And Double says, with high spend, you can't just do subs. you'll run out of cards and companies will stop approving you. Multipliers matter more. That's exactly why I'm doing these slides, because that's my point. Is some people argue, well, everybody's subs are the most important thing. No. If you're putting, and you might think, well, nobody does that. I know people who put $250,000 to $500,000 a year on their cards. I know people like that, business owners particularly. And you can't get enough subs to use that. I mean, you could get every card in the world, I mean, that's offered, and you're going to hit those subs. I mean, you are. And then no one's going to approve you forever. So you're absolutely right. Thank you, Double Double. That's exactly my point that I'm trying to make with all this. So that's the low spend, low or infrequent traveler. Now there's the low spend with frequent paid travel. And there are these people. There are people who either because they don't really make a high salary or they're just frugal people. They're tight. They don't spend a lot. But they get a lot of, and when I say frequent paid travel, this would also be other things that are reimbursed. Like I said, I take groups sometimes. So sometimes I'm paying for a large group of people for stuff. I get reimbursed for that. That would fit under that too. So really paid travel would be if you are traveling for work and you're getting reimbursed, you're getting all those points for the flying and all that, and for the credit cards, but it's not your money, or could be for hotels, stuff like that too. So for these people, I think the dynamics change dramatically. I think flying, and I would say hotel points too, but I just don't focus on hotel points. But flying, this person's going to rack up, because this was me. There was a time I was pretty low spend because I was pretty low salary, but I flew a lot and I got reimbursed, and I consulted and got reimbursed for that. I mean, so I flew a lot. So we got a lot of my points, most of our points, because I'm just getting, when you fly all that much, you're high status. So you're getting way more points per dollar. If you're top level status with American, you're getting like 11 points per dollar spent on flights, and you're spending somebody else's money on it. So that's a ton. I mean, you're flying, you spend $20,000 in the year on flights, which isn't hard to do, of somebody else's money at 11 points per dollar spent. Wow, that's over 200,000 points just that you didn't spend $1 on. So I think for this person, they're going to get massive value from the points they get from that flying. And that's number one. And not be controversial. People may say, well, still sign-up bonuses matter more, but I don't think so. I think for them, the flying and getting those points matter more. Then sign-up bonuses, because sign-up bonuses, they're still low spend. That's still going to be a great way to do it. Portals, again. Referrals, again. And then for this person, I think number 5, the lowest. So we kind of swapped flying on this person. It was number 5 on the previous slide. Now it's number 1. But for them, I think the very lowest, least impactful is going to be multipliers. All right, let's go back to some of the comments. Did that one. Kyle says, have you used a companion certificate to Hawaii, and was it hard to find an eligible flight? Family in Hawaii for context. No, I have not used the companion certificate to Hawaii, so I can't answer your question on that, whether or not it was hard to find, availability or not. So the answer is, I just don't know. Are you talking with Delta or with Alaska or American? So that might make a difference. But Double says, for low spend, also need to moderate your expectations. Can't be taking business class 3 times a year and staying at 5-star hotels on 1 or 2 subs per year. And that's okay. Yeah, I agree. But if a low spender is really a gamer, you can be a low spend gamer. You can be. And they can still, especially this person, because if they're getting 200,000 points a year from their flying and they're doing sign-up bonuses, that's fairly significant, especially if they shop around when they're, redeeming. So Double, I'm glad you're calling out portals. Folks can get a number of points. Typically, typical subs return on spend is maybe 10 to 20. You can approach that multiplier with portals, especially when it's reimbursed. Yes, absolutely. And that's the point, is that this person is focusing on sign-up bonuses, but they've got a card that gets a great value through portals. So they're buying their reimbursed flights and hotels through the portal, getting 10x. This is just an outstanding way to earn points, and I think it should be prioritized. 100%. Medic says, I have done split bookings where I will pay first class flights for me and book my wife in first award flight just so I can get the insane amount of points back since she doesn't have status. Yeah. Yeah. Because the same concept, right? You're figuring out what rewards you the most and approaching it that way. Coder says, I think it does depend on you valuing status versus vacation, since you can use those flights for subs if you don't care about earning status. That's true. However, you understand that the person who's flying for work is probably getting status, whether they care about it or not. They're getting it. So they're earning even more on their flights. So I think that's a distinction that's important on this slide in particular. Calder's, I even saved $2 to $250 on my current trip by booking with Delta stays instead of direct. Really? So it was a cheaper price. That's always good to hear. Not expected, but good to hear. Double for flights. Portals also earn bank points plus miles and status points on the airline. That's absolutely true. So it's just a super big boost for this person who's flying a ton, because they're getting their 11 points per dollar or whatever it is with the airline, plus the 5X or 6X or whatever through the portal. So yeah, portals matter for them. And double, and there's more loyalty eligible hotel portals showing up. Yeah, they're common. They're not as frequent. It's really common with flying, but not as frequent with that. But they're coming. All right, next slide on the list. The high spend, low or occasional travel person. This is a person, and I know people like this who they have tons of spend, maybe a lot of business spend, or maybe they just have a lot of money and they spend a lot of money. But they just don't travel very much, maybe once or twice a year. And when they do, maybe it's in business class and nice hotels, but they don't travel much. For this person, I actually think portals would be the top of the heap, because with portals, this person has high spend. That means lots. That's like the 500,000 that was brought up before with Rakuten, right? Portals can just knock it out of the park for somebody that can spend a ton through that portal. Then sign up bonuses, because this person can get the bigger sign up bonuses. You understand? So the two slides we talked about previously, they're not going to be able to do 3 Amex business plats in a year. And but those are right now at 300,000 points. Well, this person could do the 20,000 spend easy in 3 months and do it multiple times. And that's the exception to the rule. Amex will continue to give you business cards if you are willing to pay that fee. So I think sign-up bonuses are special to this person. Then there's multipliers. So this is the first time that multipliers are moving up the list. This high spend person is not going to spend all or even maybe the majority of their spending on sign-up bonuses. They care about multipliers. Multipliers move the needle for them. They matter. Then there's referrals. And this person could referral. And then, they're going to have people they can refer. They can use that strategy back and forth, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And then there's flights at the end, because they're low travel, occasional travel. So when they fly, they're probably flying on their points and they're doing it in style, right? So that's kind of how I broke that one down. Double says, with really high spend multipliers, particularly uncapped multipliers, can exceed subs. Thinking about business spend. Yeah, that's exactly my point for this person. Trade wins, travel. Good to have you here. Some gated benefits offer very high ROS, like the Atmos Reward Summit Visa Infinite Global Companion Award. Yeah, that's a great return on spend, no doubt. And that would fit this high spend person very well, because they can hit that, 60,000 points you have to get that. Family travel, John. My wife needed me to go get 20 bags of dirt from Ace Hardware this morning. Okay. It was Mother's Day, so you probably had to do that for sure. Ordered online in advance for store pickup and got an extra 2X through Rakuten. Every little bit helps. Yep. That's the gamer mindset. And it's awesome, John. Free music. I have a lot of spend, but the stuff I spend on is not available in portals. Insurance payments, certain medical supplies, only available direct from manufacturer. Yeah, and that's where these charts aren't perfect, right? I mean, you got to adjust it to your own circumstances. But yeah, I have spend that can't be done through portals too. And that's when multipliers really matter. Coder, yep, to me, this is me to a T, and I 100% agree. Awesome. I'm glad I hit it on the head, so to speak. Double Animal Fries says, John, every point matters. And Source King, before getting into points and miles, I thought getting a corporate card at work would be awesome. Now, I fight HR to let me use my own card and get reimbursed. I know. Nona has a corporate card, and we hate it. And there have been a few times, like, there was a problem with the card, and she had to call them, and they said, just use your personal card and turn it in. Man, those are great days. We always hope there's a problem with her card, so we get the extra points. So, Family Travel John, double Animal Fries says 100%. Medic says, yep, same struggle. Trade Winds, we spend $15K for the Global Companions Pass and rack up 200,000 miles as well. Awesome. Excelente. All right, last one. High spend, frequent paid travel. Okay, so this is the person that has really high spend, like the previous slide, but they travel. And maybe they travel for work. This would be some of you folks who are in here, you probably fit this. Your job pays for a lot of travel. You may even get business class travel reimbursed. Oh boy, this person's got a lot of potential. So for this person, I still think portals could be the best. I mean, right? Because they got Rakuten. They could book flights through the portal and get crazy. They could book hotels through the portal and get crazy points. I still think this person could really benefit from portals, and that's why I put it at number one. Although their flights, I mean, I have friends who their businesses pay. I mean, I have a friend who travels overseas to Asia to inspect factories like once a month or once every other month. And he flies business class, and his company reimburses him for business class. That's crazy. That's a lot of points. A lot of points. So I think that would be number two for this person. Number three would be multipliers. They're high spend. That matters. Number four would be signups. So they're still going to be getting their cards to get their points, for new sign-up bonuses. And number five would be referrals. And that's just kind of how I wouldn't resist if we wanted to swap a couple of those in there. But that just kind of for this person seemed like a reasonable approach. All right. I don't think that we've had any more comments come in. Let's see. What are we ending up with today? Yeah, 68 people in here, 29 likes. That's great. Well, as I wrap up, Double says this person is killing it with points and miles. Oh yeah, and there are some, who make comments on the channel who definitely fit this bill. I mean, this person's doing it, and these people do exist, no doubt. All right, let me go back through. I don't think we had any super chats or channel gifts, so nothing really for me to shout out or thank anybody for. We do though. Coder joined the Spreadsheet Warriors, so thank you, Coder Corral. Good to have you. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, Tuesday night I'll have a upcoming Spreadsheet Warriors Zoom session, so you'll see that. Look on the posts on my channel. I'll probably put that on tonight. When we're done with this, I'll put up a Zoom link just for Spreadsheet Warriors. Only they can see it. So be looking for that. And I think that's it for tonight. So that's all right. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the new slide design and the new design of the basic channel and kind of my breakdown of it. But I appreciate everybody. Medic says, looking forward to Tuesday. Looking forward to it myself. Always enjoy it. Appreciate everybody. With that, I don't think we have any more comments, so I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all here next time.